Unit 6, Task 4.2.
Okay, in today's lecture, I want to talk about the problems of stress at work. Right, I'm going to look first of all at some of the reasons why stress occurs at work, and then we'll also spend some time thinking about what companies can do to solve this problem. Okay, everyone? Right, first then, why does stress occur at work? Well, one of the most popular explanations is that it occurs because there is a mismatch between the demands placed on a person by the job and the person's ability to cope with the demands. This kind of mismatch often happens, for example, when someone is promoted because they were good at the job they did before they were promoted. Unfortunately, this does not always mean the employee has the skills for the new, more demanding job that he or she has been promoted to. This phenomenon is often referred to as the Peter Principle. Peter Principle, okay? In other words, people get promoted beyond their level of competence, and not being able to cope with the job is the reason they suffer stress. There is undoubtedly some truth in the idea that stress at work is caused by the job requiring a higher level of competence than the employee has. However, this theory fails to explain the whole story. For example, it does not explain why highly competent and successful people whose capabilities exceed the demands placed on them can become distressed by work problems. It also fails to explain why, once a work problem has been solved, some employees continue to be psychologically disturbed. We have to look further than the first theory, therefore, the one about not being able to do the job. In order to find a satisfactory explanation for the cause of stress at work. Okay? To understand why people who are good at their jobs may nevertheless suffer stress, we have to identify how people see their problems. One very revealing way of doing this is to uncover the private dialogues they engage in as they attempt to cope with the problems. These self-conversations often consist of statements such as, "Nobody should be required to work under these conditions," or, "If I don't complete this job on time, I'll be seen as second-rate," or, "I must maintain the highest standards all the time." People's dialogues with themselves reflect their ways of thinking about and interpreting the world, and thus also influence the way they behave. If such aspects of thinking are dysfunctional, in the sense that they do not help to solve the problems and maintain healthy mental and emotional states, then people will become distressed. In fact, dysfunctional ways of thinking about themselves and their work problems appear to distress people more than a lack of technical competence. This is why techniques such as time management and objective setting are of such limited use in helping distressed employees. In short, stress at work may be caused not only by the employee not being capable of doing the job, but also by negative feelings about unsatisfactory conditions of service or self-induced pressures about what constitutes a satisfactory level of performance. So, having uncovered some of the various reasons for stress at work, let us turn next to what can be done to minimize it. One answer is for companies to invest in the mental health of employees. A comprehensive health assessment procedure which assesses psychological as well as physical health can identify employees suffering from stress and provide a channel for referral and counseling. Another solution is to make sure the right criteria are considered when matching people with jobs, especially when this involves a promotion. Instead of focusing mainly or solely on the candidate's present level of performance, it is just as or even more important to consider whether they have the potential to perform adequately in the new job. Techniques such as job trialing have a role to play here. Okay? Finally, companies should reconsider the way they articulate their key values. Nowadays, these tend to consist of concepts such as achievement, competitiveness, excellence, competence, success, and the like. Unfortunately, these values are often articulated in an all-or-none manner. Indeed, anything different is seen as being second-rate. Now, employees who attempt to put absolute views of this kind into practice make themselves immensely vulnerable to stress, since the targets they set themselves are frequently unattainable. However, if companies and the employees learn to articulate their goals more pragmatically, in other words, in terms of what it is realistic for each employee to achieve, they would probably still achieve their targets, but without many of the costs incurred through stress. Okay, you can all relax now.